This dude puts the power back in brain power. Welcome to WatchMojo.com, and today we will explore the comic book origins of the villain known as the Thinker. Before we begin, we publish new videos every day, so be sure to subscribe for more great content. As with most comic book characters, there are often reimaginings and different versions to a character's past. We have chosen to primarily follow the storyline which unfolded in 1943's All-Flash number 12, which was expanded upon in 1961's Flash number 123, 2000's JSA number 16, 2005's Firestorm number 13, and 2014's Suicide Squad numbers 25 and 29. The Thinker was just a really smart guy when he debuted in the 1940s, but in later years he got connected with a thinking cap, which turned out to be a bright idea. The device magnified his own smarts, while at the same time giving him forms of mental superpowers, such as telekinesis and mind control. When the Thinker, aka Clifford DeVoe, premiered in the pages of All Flash number 12, he was actually kind of a good guy. As a matter of fact, he was a district attorney prosecuting a crime czar by the name of Hunk Norvik. When Norvik blackmailed a key witness into lying on the stand, DeVoe's case fell apart, and he fell to pieces. Deciding crime was the logical next step in his career, he offered his services to Norvik. Their deal was simple. Norvik would keep him on a sizable retainer. DeVoe would use his brains to come up with scenarios to help Norvik out of jams, and Norvik would be allowed to use him for assistance one time. Then, after the Flash captured two members of Norvik's gang and convinced them to rat on their boss, Norvik was forced to take DeVoe up on his offer. Using an incendiary bomb, he destroyed the thugs' confession and then gunned them down. Norvik, worried that DeVoe might use his brains to take over, decided to take him out too. But DeVoe expected this and tricked Norvik into killing himself. DeVoe naturally took over Norvik's gang and decided to keep outsmarting the Flash. When the Flash foiled one of the Thinker's robbery attempts, the villain retaliated by trying to make the Flash think that his dim-witted buddies, Winkley, Blinkley, and Naughty, were crooks. Luring him into his trap, the Thinker used his wiles to try to destroy the Flash, but the speedster was just too fast for him. The villain conceded defeat and was taken to jail. The Thinker returned several times in the 1940s, but a notable change occurred in his first Silver Age appearance. He was one of the three villains in the milestone Flash of Two Worlds story of 1961, in which the Barry Allen Flash teamed up with the Golden Age Flash, Jay Garrick. In this story, the Thinker had come into the possession of a marvelous thinking cap, which took his already considerable intellect to a whole new level. It also enabled him to exercise his mental powers on a new level, via telekinesis and mind control. Interestingly, the Thinker didn't create that thinking cap, but seems to instead have stolen it. It had actually originally appeared in a 1945 Flash story, but as the creation of an entirely different character. Over the years, the Thinker's costume and thinking cap underwent some big changes, making him appear more like a typical costumed supervillain. He also ended up kinda dying, once as a member of the Suicide Squad, and once as an old man who'd become friends with Jay Garrick late in his life. This discrepancy is likely related to the mass retcons post-Crisis on Infinite Earths. But in any event, after his death, Mr. Terrific integrated his thinking cap technology into the Justice Society of America's computers to make it more powerful. Unfortunately, this led to the creation of an artificial intelligence version of the Thinker, who managed to take control of the JSA's technology and become a dangerous foe once again. Yet another version of the Thinker popped up in 2005, but this time he had only a slight connection to Clifford DeVoe. Cliff Carmichael had long held a deep-rooted hatred for Ronnie Raymond, who had become one half of the superhero known as Firestorm. After he came across the Thinker's original designs, he modified them to make himself even more powerful, and briefly took on the mantle of the Thinker. Finally, the Thinker got a brand new makeover as part of the New 52 revamp of the entire DC line. In this new version, the thinking cap was totally gone. In its place were nodes attached to his skull. This version of DeVoe had been a murderer since childhood, and had suffered greatly as the result of his genius intellect. You see, it sapped his body's energy, so that although he was only in his 20s, his body was that of a man in his 70s. He managed to transfer his mind into the body of OMAC, a humanoid machine created for death and destruction, but it didn't work out though. The Thinker has had some limited exposure in the past in DC's animated universe. He's an interesting villain with a ton of potential, and his role as a major Flash villain in the CW TV series will inevitably and considerably raise his profile.
In the future, you and I have been enemies for years. Well, there have been others. Of course. There's Dawn, Zoom, DeVoe.
Check out these other great clips from WatchMojo and subscribe for new videos every day.